Hello, my name is Keshwani. It's Keshwani, Keshwani. We are here because we want to improve our geometry skill. If you're preparing for the SAT, the GRE or the GMAT, it doesn't matter. There are some basic concepts of geometry that you must know, and these videos that I'm going to put together hopefully will help you in mastering those basic concepts. As I said, you should have these fundamental elementary concepts at your fingertips when you're sitting for the exam. I'm going to start today with the most fundamental of the question in geometry, the very basic question, the most important question in geometry, which is understanding this concept. Here's a simple question. What is pi? I know pi is supposed to be written like this, but I write it like this because I'm lazy. The question is, what is pi? Now listen carefully. I did not ask you, I'm not asking how much is pi. So if you're sitting there going, well, this guy, rolling your eyes and saying, why is this guy asking me such a ridiculous question? I'm not asking you how much it is. So if you're sitting there going 3.14, that's great. I'm very touched. But that wasn't the question. The question is, what is pi? Can you articulate the concept of pi? What does it mean? What does it represent? What is the conceptual idea behind it? I'm going to get out of the frame for about 5-10 seconds. I'll be right back. In the meantime, I want you to give it some thought. Okay? Pause the video if you have to, and give it some thought. And once you have the answer, then you start it. I'll be right back. Okay. So what is pi? Most people, of course almost everybody knows what pi equals to, but what I found through my experience is that, and I've been teaching, I am a tutor. I'm a tutor for the SAT. I'm a private tutor. I provide private tutoring services, face-to-face tutoring services, and I also tutor over the internet via Skype for the SAT, GRE and GMAT, and I've been at it for almost 20 years now. I started in '89, and through experience what I've learned is that many a times I've come across situations where people know what pi equals to, but if you ask me what is it, they have no idea. They have just memorized 3.14 and that's it. Let's learn it, shall we? Pi is in fact the ratio of distance around the circle to the distance across the circle. That's what it is. Distance around the circle to distance across the circle. It's a ratio. Pi is a ratio. Distance around the circle to distance across the circle. It's a very simple concept. Stay with me. You can judge whether or not it was a good use of your time watching this video at the end of the video. Be patient. I'm going someplace with it, and you will find that you will learn something new. So don't be judgmental right now. Have the patience. I'm building it up. You have to wait for the punchline. You cannot ask for the punchline before the joke is finished. Similarly here, you cannot have instant gratification. Just be patient. We're going someplace with it. What do we call distance around the circle? Distance around the circle is called, of course you already know what it's called circumference. And what do we call distance across the circle? Well, there is a circle. Distance around the circle, we already talked about it. Distance around the circle, well, that's the concept of circumference. What do we call something that represents distance across the circle? Now when you say across the circle means you must go through the center. That's what it means. What do we call that concept when you go across a circle through the center? Well, obviously it's called the diameter. Let's use C for circumference and small d for the diameter. So that's what pi is. Okay, watch what happens. So your pi actually equals circumference over the diameter. What's going to happen if I were to multiply both sides of the equation by d? This d drops out, and what we end up here is that C equals d times pi. C equals diameter times pi. And diameter, of course, here to here is the radius, and from here to here is another radius. So diameter, of course, you already know is twice the radius, because that's what it is. If you have two radii together of the same circle, obviously. I just use the word radii. Radii is how you say the plural of radius. Plural of radius is not radiuses, but radii. So if you have two radii, that makes the diameter of the same circle, obviously. So we can replace this diameter, this d, with 2 times r. Now the convention dictates, and if you do not know what convention means, I'm digressing here big time. Oh boy. I need to erase this thing. Let's learn this word first. As you will find, as you watch more and more of my videos, you will find that I have this philosophy that it does not hurt to improve one's vocabulary. Even when one is sitting there solving the math problem, it doesn't hurt to improve your vocabulary. Let's learn about digress. Do you know what it means to digress? Because I just said I'm about to digress. What does it mean to digress? It means to go off topic. If you're talking about one subject and you all of a sudden decide to move on to the next topic, some other topic, that is called a digression. If you want to learn the word in more detail, properly, along with a bunch of other useful words that will come in very handy if you're preparing for the SAT or the GRE or GMAT, if you want to learn this word properly, just type in Keshwani Prep -vocab Day 3. That's what that 3 means. And you will learn the word digress. Digress simply means to go off topic. So allow me to digress for a second, because I was going to introduce the word convention here, because I just used the word convention. I wanted to make sure that you understand it, and that's what the digression was about. So give me a second here and I'll tell you when we covered the word convention, and you can learn that as well in the event that you need to learn it. Convention has 2 meanings. The first meaning almost everybody knows. I'm talking and looking at the same time in my list here as to when I covered it. Convention. Converse and consummation. Just be patient. I can't find it. I know I covered it. Convention has 2 meanings. One meaning of the word convention is something that almost everybody knows, which means a gathering or a meeting, or a powwow if you like. Contain, comparable, converse and consummation. Cliché, contain. Convention, there you go. Oh, I can't believe I covered it so late in the game. Convention. Day number 46. So again, if you were to type in Keshwani Prep -vocab Day 46, you will learn this word convention. What does it mean? Convention means tradition. It's a noun. Convention means tradition. It's a noun. Now watch what happens if I were to convert this into an adjective. If you want to convert it into adjective, convention becomes conventional, which simply means traditional. The convention, there are certain conventions that you have to observe in any field that you go in, any field that you're talking about. There are certain conventions, there are certain traditions that you have to abide by, so that it makes life easy for everybody. Everybody does the thing the same way. It makes it easier. It's nice if you drive on the same side of the road as everybody else does, because that's the convention. Do you understand? The convention in mathematics is that you put the number first, the numerical value go first, which we already have here, and then after that goes the constant. This pi is a constant, it never changes. So first you put the numerical value, then the constant, and then the variable. Variables go at the end. Let's say 2 pi r. Do you see it? Do you recognize it? What is it? That's your formula for circumference. So what did we just learn? The so-called formula for circumference is nothing more than the definition of pi incognito. There is your definition of pi. This in fact, this box here actually is the definition of pi incognito. What does incognito mean? Do you know what it means? Incognito? It means in disguise. That is how you define pi. When people go around saying, actually they memorize. I have seen people memorize. They go around saying c equals 2 pi r, circumference equals 2 pi r. Again, without having any understanding at all as to why. Now you know. It comes from the definition of pi. Incognito. Where was it? Incognito, day 42. Day 42. And the convention I told you a little while ago, I think it was day 46, wasn't it? Yes, 46. So there you go. So from now on, I don't want you to go around memorizing the definition of circumference. I want you to understand it. Pi, I'm going to do it one more time here, in this tiny space that I have here. I'm going to do it here, just to make you understand how simple it is. In this space I'm going to do here. Pi is a ratio of distance around the circle, distance across the circle. That tells us that C equals pi times D, which is same as pi times 2r, which of course is same as 2 pi r. Voila, that's it. It's a very simple derivation. That's it. As a matter of fact, I didn't even need all this room here. All of this room I did not need. There you go. Let's move on to the next concept, which has to do with the area of the circle. Now that we understand the circumference of a circle, let's talk about the area of the circle. I need the room, so I need to erase everything. One more time, the question was, what is pi? Pi is a ratio. It's a ratio of distance around the circle to distance across the circle. Distance around the circle is what we call circumference. The distance across the circle is what we call the diameter. So it's the ratio of circumference to diameter. The rest is very simple, as I already explained here. Let's keep our words in a separate area here. Let me look in the back of the camera as to how much time I have taken, and then I'll decide whether I want to start the discussion about the area today or whether I want to leave it until tomorrow. Okay, just give me 1 second. Okay, we're pushing 15 minutes, so I'm going to actually end it right now. That was it. That was the concept of area. Tomorrow, on day number 2, we'll talk about. I'll introduce you to the concept of area of the circle. Then what do I have? Then we will talk about how to calculate surface area of something. In the exam, many a times you're asked to calculate the surface area, and sometimes kids get confused about that. Then we'll talk about the volume of a cylinder. How to go about it. There is an easy way to remember the formula for it. Again, if you understand what's going behind it, which is what I'm going to teach you. And then we'll talk about the Pythagorean theorem. After that we'll talk about a 3, 4, 5 triangle. We'll talk about parallel lines and how to figure out different angles in a parallel line. We'll talk about the distance formula after that, and then we'll talk about the isosceles triangle, the equilateral triangle, the 30, 60, 90 triangle. There's a lot of things that we want to cover, so I'm going to cover one topic every day. Just make a short video of about 10 to 15 minutes. Just make sure that you understand one topic at a time. Okay? I'll see you tomorrow. In the meantime, if you wish to get hold of me for personal private tutoring, either face-to-face tutoring, I'm in Connecticut and New York area, or I also tutor most of my businesses over the internet via Skype. So if you wish to be tutored over the internet via Skype, as I said, you can send me an email. Go to any of these website addresses that you see there and just send me an email as to what you need help in, whether it's SAT, GRE, GMAT or TOEFL. You can also go to keshwaniprep.com and send me an email from there. Alright? Thank you.